Morning, everyone. Welcome to this, the 35th Rabbi Marshall Meyer Retreat, Multi-Faith Strategies for Nonviolent Direct Action. And we are so thrilled here at the Interfaith Center to be partnering with the New York State Poor People's Campaign and the Micah Institute. This is a really wonderful expression of a retreat that's been going on about twice a year for the past 21 years in seeking to fulfill the Interfaith Center's mission to bring together grassroots religious leaders of different traditions and to help them work with each other and civic officials on shared concerns to make our city a more just and peaceful place to live for all of us. Today we have a lot of exciting things in store, and I just wanted to begin by welcoming all of you. On April 30th of this year, it was the second anniversary, if you can believe it, of the death of priest and peace activist Daniel Berrigan. Berrigan of the Berrigan Brothers famously poured homemade napalm on several hundred draft cards in Catonsville, Maryland in 1968 and set fire to them in the parking lot, kicking off what then became an emblematic expression of resistance to the Vietnam War. Later in 1980, Daniel and his brother Philip founded the Plowshares movement, trespassing on General Electric property and hammering against a nuclear warhead, evoking the biblical verse in the book of Isaiah about beating swords into plowshares. This they did as an enfleshment, they said, of a biblical call, Christ's willingness to be killed rather than to kill. The short fuse of the American left is typical of the highs and lows of American emotional life, said Berrigan many years later. It is very rare to sustain a movement in recognizable form without a spiritual base. Well, supposing this is true, in our city of hundreds of languages, of peoples, and of religious traditions, a microcosm of the country and world at large, what of those people with deep faiths and part of ancient religious traditions for whom Isaiah's language of turning swords into plowshares does not have the same resonance as it does among Christians and Jews? What of the Buddhist, Sikh, Hindu, and Muslim traditions of nonviolent direct action on which the justice of the world also turns? We know of Dorothy Day, of Martin Luther King, and certainly Mahatma Gandhi. But what about Abdul Ghaffar Khan, Thich Nhat Hanh, Maha Goshananda? What are the strategies of nonviolent direct action that will fortify our sisters and brothers of different traditions? What are some of the readings, the traditions or practices that might lead us to similar or different conclusions about the work of repairing the world? We may find that our respective traditions of nonviolence may be able to borrow from one another. Just think of the beautiful way that Gandhi borrowed from Tolstoy, who then King borrowed from Gandhi, as well as the black church tradition in which he was raised. Well, we may find that we can be fortified by a wider array or understanding of religious diversity that may bring us again to the same ideas of what direct action means or how to confront evil and injustice of our world. We may also find very important differences. And the results of these things may be that we come together for the same action but for different reasons, or else we draw on human creativity, as we did if you think of the way that so many examples of resisting the Muslim ban took place in a public way. If you think of the Juma prayers that happened in Foley Square, and where non-Muslims surrounded those people praying in public as an act of resistance that drew on some of our diverse religious traditions. So I hope that you get something out of today, and in the spirit of Rabbi Marshall Meyer, that you connect with people that you don't know around work that you share and passions in common, that you apply what you do here today into the work of the world outside this room.